Having lost more than 1,000 tanks, many of them shot down by Russian drones, Ukraine has recognized that heavily armed fighting vehicles must adopt a different strategy if they are to survive on a battlefield filled with tiny drones. As Forbes analyst David Axe notes, tank crews must now operate with extreme caution, spending most of their time hiding in barns, garages or dugouts, and only emerging occasionally to fire a few rounds before retreating to cover. By acting more like discreet artillery and less like the brazen close combat assault vehicles they once were, tanks are losing some of their relevance. Embracing this new truth, the Ukrainian army is reorganizing its tank units. He emphasizes the analyst estimates that Ukraine's 4 active tank brigades, each with up to 100 tanks, will likely be disbanded. Some of the hundreds of tanks freed up by this reform, including dozens of Leopard 1A5 and Leopard 2A4 tanks that Ukraine is receiving from its allies, will be transferred to new 30-tank battalions belonging to infantry and mechanized brigades, as well as to new multi-brigade corps that will organize the Ukrainian ground forces. Ukrainian tanks are being dispersed on the battlefield and also dispersed within the Ukrainian armed forces structure, playing a supporting rather than leading role in a war increasingly shaped by drones. The end result should be a somewhat smaller overall tank corps with fewer vehicles and crews, but one that is better suited to the type of war Ukraine is fighting. At the same time, Axe points to another possible benefit of this strategy. In his opinion, it will help solve one of the most vexing problems of the Ukrainian armed forces, an acute shortage of infantry on the front lines. By sending fewer recruits to tank school, military planners could send more to infantry school, he notes. David Axe also wrote earlier that the Ukrainian armed forces are increasingly hiding armored vehicles underground in dugouts to protect them from drones. As the media reported, German Leopard 2 tanks were not adapted to the war in Ukraine and encountered significant problems. As a result, the Ukrainian military cannot use them to their full capacity. In particular, the Leopard 2 is extremely vulnerable to drone strikes, while its complex design makes it difficult to repair on the battlefield, meaning damaged Leopards must be sent to specialist repair crews in western Ukraine or even to Poland for repairs and maintenance.
President Donald Trump arrived Wednesday in Qatar, where he was greeted by the country's ruling emir, Sheikh Tamim Al Thani, as he kicked off the second leg of his 3-nation Middle East tour this week. According to Associated Press, in a stunning engagement earlier in the day in Saudi Arabia, Trump met with Syria's new leader, Ahmad al-Sharaa, a one-time insurgent who had spent years imprisoned by U.S. troops in Iraq. Trump said the rapprochement with Syria came at the urging of Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. On the plane, Trump said he doesn't think Russian President Vladimir Putin will go to Turkey for ceasefire talks with Ukraine unless he also goes. "I don't know if he would be there if I'm not there," Trump said, speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One as he was flying from Saudi Arabia to Qatar. He noted that his schedule on Thursday is all booked out. Trump didn't categorically rule out visiting Turkey, but said he planned to send Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Trump also said he'll know more in a few days if Putin is just leading him on regarding his openness to negotiations to end Russia's war on Ukraine. Asked if he believed Putin was just tapping him, as he suggested earlier this month, Trump said in response, "I'll let you know in a few days." Trump also praised Syria's new leader after their meeting in Saudi Arabia. "He's a young, attractive guy," Trump said. "Tough guy. Strong past. Very strong past. Fighter." Trump also said he thought al-Sharaa has got a real shot at holding it together. "I think he's got the potential to do. He's a real leader. He led a charge and he's pretty amazing," Trump said, adding that he believes al-Sharaa will eventually join the Abraham Accords and recognize Israel. "I think they have to get themselves straightened up," Trump says. I told him, I hope you're going to join when it's straightened out. He said, yes. But they have a lot of work to do.
What happens on Thursday if President Putin doesn't show up in Turkey for the talks with Ukraine? What will you do?
Well, I don't know if he's showing up. I know he would like me to be there. And that's a possibility. If we could end the war, I'd be thinking about that. Now, tomorrow, we're all booked out, you understand, we're all set.
But you'd go if he goes?
Go UAE tomorrow. And so we have a very full situation. Now, that doesn't mean I wouldn't do it to save a lot of lives and come back. But, yeah, I think they're thinking about something. I don't know that he would be there if I'm not there. We're going to find out. Parker's going, and Parker's been very effective.
How are you feeling about how Putin is handling this? I know you had said a few weeks ago you thought maybe how Putin is handling this. You said a few weeks ago you thought maybe he was tapping you along.
I'll let you know in a few days.
How did you find the Syrian president?
Great. Right. I think very good. Young, attractive guy, tough guy. You know, strong pass. Very strong pass fighter.
Does that worry you at all?
He's got a real shot at pulling it together. I spoke with President Erdogan, who I'm very friendly with him. He feels he's got a shot at doing a good job. It's a torn up country. Yeah, but I think they have to get themselves straightened out. I told him, I hope you're going to join when it's straightened out. He said yes. But they have a lot of work to do.
There have been some reports of the Syrian president wanting a Trump Tower in Damascus. Did that come up at all?
No, I haven't heard. We'll have to wait a little while. Things calm down a little while with the country. I think he's going to do. He's got the potential. He's a real leader. He led a charge, and he's pretty amazing.
On Israel, you're not going to Israel. Does this trip sideline Israel at all?
No, not at all. No, this is good for Israel. Having a relationship like I have with these countries, Middle Eastern countries, essentially all of them. I think it's very good for Israel.
Can I ask you again on Israel, on the hostage deal? Did any of your people speak with Israel about the release of the American hostage? I'm sorry, on the sanctions lifting of Syria. Well, let me ask on Edom first. What credit does Israel deserve, if any, for that release of the hostage?
Well, they've been fighting a long time. They're warring. And I think they deserve a lot of credit. I think my people deserve a lot of credit, maybe the most credit. He wouldn't be there. If it weren't for us, he wouldn't be living right now. Probably none of the hostages would be living right now. We probably have 20 that are living, that will be getting out step by step. We've gotten a lot of them out. And the last time, a couple of weeks ago, 10 people walked into my office, the Oval Office, and they said they had a 59 on their shirt in front. And I said, what does that represent, the number of hostages? They said, wow, that's a lot. They said, well, 24 are living, and now it's 20. The number is 20 and living. 84 have died. And the young people don't die. Young people are killed, they don't die. So the 24 living of the 59, 24 living is now down to 20. And we got Edom out. It's great. His family was so thankful. We did a good job with him. We'll continue to do.